Hey, it's Pete, GCI Turf. Hope you're doing good. And if you're watching this video, it's because you bought my sprayer nozzle assembly and the trim tip. We now have that in a combo package for you. One tip is going to be a broadcast spray that's going to spray approximately 8 foot wide. And then the trim tip is just a basic fan nozzle that's going to allow you to spray your edges around fences and driveways and things like that. It's to control the little bit of overspray that the broadcast tip produces. The first thing I want you to do is take everything you've ever heard me say in any previous video you've ever watched me in and throw it out the door. I've been promoting that we spray at 32 ounces, which is 1 quart per 1,000 square feet. We're going to bump that up to 64 ounces per 1,000 square feet, which is a half a gallon. It's 128 ounces in a gallon. Half of that's 64. So for every 1,000 square foot of area that we cover, we're going to put out 64 ounces of finished product. And inside this 64 ounces is going to include whatever you're spraying. Fungicide, RGS, biostimulant, whatever the product is, it's going to be inside that 64 ounces. Now, for those of you who have been using this spray system for a while now, and you're spraying at 32 ounces or 1 quart per 1,000, and things are going well, don't get confused. If you want to stay at that rate, you stay at that rate. Okay? I don't want you to get confused in any kind of way. The reason I'm making this change is we're having a little bit of mixing issues with not enough water for the products that are going in here. So all we're doing is increasing the water that we put down so that the products mix a little easier and a little better. So in this video, I'm going to use the BL25E. This is the 2-gallon version. Now I've been promoting this to cover 8,000 square feet because there's 8 quarts in 2 gallons, right? Well, moving forward, this is only going to cover 4,000 square feet, okay? And then if you've got the 4-gallon model, instead of it covering 16,000 square feet, it's going to cover 8,000 square feet. And again, if things are going good at the quart per 1,000, then you don't need to change anything, okay? This is basically for newbies that don't have any experience spraying. I want to make it as easy as possible for you guys to get the hang of it, because man, it's actually pretty fun, and I don't want you to have to be fighting mixing and all that crap like that. So 64 ounces per 1,000. Now the first thing you're going to do when you get your sprayer, now you can see mine's not brand new, I've been using it, but you're going to take some Teflon tape and you're going to wrap it around this tip. Go around it 2 or 3 times, get a good coat, pull it tight, take your finger, your hand, kind of snug it in there where you can see a little bit of the threads popping through like so. If you have a Chapin sprayer, this will work. My nozzle assembly will work, but you'll have to use a little bit extra Teflon tape. And then of course all you want to do is screw on the sprayer nozzle assembly like so. Now don't go crazy with this and don't muscle it down so hard that you screw the threads up. That's what the Teflon tape is for, to keep it from leaking, okay? Now once you get it on, it should look something like that with the tip pointed down. You should be able to see the little cap right here at the top. Now yours is going to be yellow. I've just got your cap down at the bottom is going to be yellow. But this top is black, and you can see how it is. It's pointed straight up and down. Make sure it's lined up with your wand or your wand here pretty good. Now, if you're having trouble priming the pump, this is very simple. Now we're going to practice a little bit calibration. It's very simple. Grab the handle real firm, unscrew this handle here, like so. Nice and easy. Then turn your pump on. Make sure it's full of water, because we're going to practice a lot before you actually spray with some product. This is what you should get, something similar to that. Once you got water coming to here, then cut your pump off. Screw your handle back on. Make sure everything's lined up nice and straight again, like so. Now I'm going to give you a good idea of what your pattern is supposed to look like. We're going to hold this spray tip, you know, between 12 and 16 inches roughly off the ground. I'm going to squeeze the trigger. Now I'm just going to let it sit here and run and run, and I'm going to let this get real nice and dark so you can see your spray pattern, see what it's supposed to look like. I'm not moving the tip in any way. Now I've actually got it a little bit crooked. You can see it's a little bit heavier on this side than it is on that side, so you can kind of straighten it up if you need to. There's your spray pattern. Okay, you can see we're roughly 8 feet wide. Okay, we're not going to get super duper precise with this, but we want to make sure that we're pretty close to 8 foot wide. Now you can see the little fine droplets out there on the end. That's going to be kind of considered your overlap. Okay, the next thing I want to know is how long does it take me to fill up 64 ounces? So I'm going to hit my stopwatch and I'm going to pull the trigger at the same time. And you need to do this. I want you to physically go through so that you can learn how to do this. Minute and 22 seconds. We'll call that a minute 20. Okay, so we now know it takes a minute and 20 seconds to fill up this 64 ounces. Now that's with this particular sprayer and this sprayer nozzle assembly. That's why you need to do this yourself, because these sprayers may be a little bit different here and there, okay? They're supposed to be all the same, but you just never know these days. So I'm at a minute, and we'll call it a minute and 20 seconds. And I need to find if I'm 8 feet wide, I'm spraying an 8 feet wide pattern. If you multiply that time 125 feet wide, there's your 1,000 square feet. So now what we have to do is go out and measure 125 feet in length. Now I know that might be a little hard for some folks. You may not have that much area. Go out in the road. I'm gonna go out right here in the street and do it. You can do it in a driveway, a rock driveway. You can even do it in your grass if you want to. It helps to be able to do it on pavement like this so you can actually see the spray coming out. That's gonna help you learn how far it's spraying to the left and how far it's spraying to the right. All right, now the starting point's at my mailbox, and you can see my measuring wheel down there. It needs to take me a minute and 20 seconds to walk from here all the way down to there. Now this is where you're gonna have to train yourself to be able to do this. So I've got a phone in my other hand that I'm gonna start and run this as well. And about halfway down, I'm gonna look, and I should be at the halfway mark, which should be what, 40 seconds, and I'm gonna kind of make my pace off of that. So this is the part that's gonna take some practice, okay? Okay, so I intentionally put 1.5 gallons in here before I made that spray pass right there. And I'm now down to 1 gallon. So that's half a gallon, 2 quarts, 64 ounces, all the same thing. And I walked that in 1 minute and 20 seconds. And you can see kind of the pace you need to walk at. It's kind of a very slow pace. But remember, you're still covering a pretty wide area. You're going to be able to cover a lot of ground still, even at the 2 quart per 1,000. And simply by me running out that half gallon of water over that 1,000 square foot, that tells me I'm pretty much spot on. And I want you to get caught up if you're off just a pinch here and there or whatever. That's the reason these rates have a broad range in them. It compensates for human error. So you're okay if you put just a little bit more down here, a little bit less down here, that's okay. Now the trim tip, all you want to do basically is untwist the nozzle, pull it off, put the trim tip on, and twist. That's all you're doing, it's a twist lock. Make sure there's a little rubber gasket down in here. Make sure that rubber gasket is in there because it will leak if you don't have that gasket in place. The same gasket that fits the broadcast nozzle fits the trim nozzle. So we're roughly 12 inches high with the trim nozzle. That creates a 24-inch wide space or area that we're spraying, 2 foot. So at 12 inches high, we're 2 foot wide. Now I'm going to do the same exact procedure with the trim nozzle. Now we don't want to have to mix up different rates and stuff for the different nozzles. We want them to match. So I'm going to calibrate this the same way I calibrated the flood nozzle. Now we can use the same mix, the same rates for both nozzles. We may have to walk a little bit different speed with the trim nozzle, but we're going to make that work. So here we go. I'm going to run my stopwatch and figure out how long it takes to get to 64 ounces of water. All right, so we're going to call that 1 minute and 10. And again, I can't stress enough, you need to be doing this yourself with water. You just don't just go by and say, oh, well, Pete's already calibrated. Every pump and every sprayer is different. They may be off a little bit. Chances are it's going to be very, very, very close to what mine is, but they still may be off just a touch. Now, if we go over here, we know we're at 2 foot wide and we're trying to go 1,000 square feet. We're going to divide that by 2. So a 500 foot stretch, we need to walk that in about 1 minute and 10 seconds, about 70 seconds. Now, I don't have a 500 foot stretch over here, so I'm going to divide everything by 2. Divide by 2, that's 250. We also divide our time by 2. Okay, so that's 35 seconds or so. And then I'm going to divide that by 2 again. We're down to that same 125 over here. So approximately 20 seconds. Now you can see this is going to be a little bit more of a brisk walk right here. So if we can get somewhere around that 20 or 25 second mark, I honestly don't even mind the 30-second mark. If you can walk 125 feet in 30 seconds, simply because this is a trim nozzle. We're doing all the edges. Edges mostly have the trouble. That's where all your trouble is going to happen. So we want a little extra pre-emergent there, a little extra RGS, a little extra this, a little extra that. That way we know our edges are extra protected. So now I'm over here, I got my stopwatch and I'm shooting for 30 seconds. Now remember where my spot is down there. I'm gonna try to hold it about 2 foot off the ground, and I'm gonna walk from here to down there, the 125 foot, in about 30 seconds. All right, so there you go. 31.3 seconds. That's pretty dang close. I'll take that. All right, so let's recap. First of all, you want to charge your battery, obviously. You want to put your little extra Teflon tape around the tip, screw on your sprayer nozzle assembly, fill it up with water, get used to it, practice with it, play around with it, turn the pump on. If you're having trouble priming it, remember to open the handle and prime it. So that brings up a good point. In between your sprayings, you're gonna after you get done spraying, you're gonna wash this thing out, clean it out good, okay? Right? And you want to leave a little bit of clean water in it for the summer. It's not gonna freeze during the summer. Go ahead and crack it and prime it with the water in the tank, okay? That way it's primed and ready to go for the next round. You can just go ahead and be putting your product in, put some more water in, put your product in. That way it's primed and ready to go, and just repeat that process until winter. And the last time you spray, then you can drain it dry and try to get all the water out of the line so it won't freeze. So remember, with the flood tip, the flood nozzle, you should be roughly 8 foot wide. You should be able to walk 125 feet in about 120 seconds. That's 2 minutes, right? All you have to do is pop it's a little quarter turn cap. You take it off, you put the trim nozzle on, and you can walk that same 125 foot stretch in 30 seconds. You saw me walk both of them. One's a pretty slow walk. The other's just a normal average walk is all it is. So hey, I hope this answers all your questions. I hope you have fun with this thing. Remember, we're at 2 quarts per 1,000 square feet, and in that 2 quarts is going to be your product. So if you're putting out 3 ounces of product, okay, you need 61 ounces of water, right? Is my math right? My head's going 100 million ways right now. There's 64 ounces, so we're going to take out 3 ounces of water. 61 ounces of water, 3 ounces of product, and that would be distributed over 1,000 square foot evenly. And we just did that right here. That's what calibration is. It's a measurement, is all it is. It's telling your sprayer how much to put out over a certain area so that you distribute the right amount of product over that area. So I hope this helps, and enjoy your sprayer. Please practice with it. Practice, practice, practice. I've been practicing for a very long time. That's why I'm pretty good at it, because you have to practice, okay? Water's pretty cheap, and it's not gonna hurt your driveway or your wherever you're out by the street to practice and get really good at it, and you'll be a pro sprayer before you know it. So hey, get your sprayer right.